Hello and welcome to Insight, everyone. My name is Nnamdi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you for joining us.
Best of the season to you out there. It's all about safety and safety tips on this episode as we approach Christmas and the holiday season. Well, most families will be on the move this period, and so we will be talking about safety or safe travel tips for those driving or maybe passengers, as well as security tips for holiday makers depending on where you are, whether in the city or there in the village. Elizabeth?
Well, mine is quite different. We will be examining the recent unveiled initiative by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Nigeria's Healthcare Renewal Investment Initiative, how this initiative would help attend to some of the challenges within the health sector and how it will be beneficial for Nigerians.
A healthy Christmas and, of course, into the new year as well. Well, let's get things started here on Insight. I'm fascinated with the discourse on national monuments and assets and how much is being done to preserve and
look into the language issue. We have turned English to become like a pride value in our own cultural values.
It's not cash transfer. It's not a COVID-19.
Invasion 1897 was a deliberate calculation.
You know, many of these people coming to the urban areas now.
These and applications, there are terms and conditions that
of course it is the union of two people, a man and a woman coming together.
My name is Nnamdi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori.
Well, now let's begin with safety travel tips for the festive season and checklist the boxes on measures to ensure safe driving during your holiday travel. My guest is Corps Commander Charles Edem, Deputy Corps Public Education Officer. Welcome to Insight, sir.
Thank you very much.
You know, I have a feeling, and it's quite strong too. I mean, I don't know why I feel like current rise in prices and increasing economic cost would somehow make driving quite challenging for a good number of motorists this season. But of course, in spite of all of that, I think it is critical to establish the imperatives for safety precautions before embarking on any road travels. How critical is it for a road user, a motorist perhaps, hoping to drive his or her family, not to cut cost, you know, and carry out these things like basic maintenance, you know, and what kind of maintenance perhaps should that person undertake before the D-Day, that is the takeoff day, and also on takeoff day as well?
Well, thank you for the question. And before I start, I want to wish everybody here a Merry Christmas in advance. Now, talking about the traveling plans, whoever is traveling, be it a commercial driver, a private person, a family, or anything, I think the most important thing to look at there is planning. Because when you fail to plan, of course, you're already planning to fail. So we talk about planning your journey, plan your routes. Get a map to know. Carry out a little of, let's call it feasibility study, to ensure that the roads are good to go. Sometimes there could be maintenance job going on somewhere, and some of the roads could be blocked or traffic diverted to some other place. So avoid all those undue delays. You need to have a foreknowledge of what the road condition is like.
And of course, this is the pre-D-Day takeoff day preparation.
So, but that's the plan, and that plan equally should include your vehicle. You ensure that the basic things about the vehicle is taken into consideration, and if there are issues to be addressed, of course, knowledge, suggests that you should do so. So you check the vehicle. Of course, there should be maintenance, maybe checking of the oil, if they are maybe due for overhauling, you do it. The fan belt, the fluids in particular, then the traffic indicators, the lamps, everything, the tires, the spare tires, and of course you ensure that the tools, assuming you should have maybe a flat tire on the way, that shouldn't hold you to ransom. So you should ensure that, of course, you put all those things in place. And the bottom line is plan your journey.
Yes, yes, indeed. You know, I said in this our economy right now, high cost in prices and all of that, I might, instead of buying, perhaps maybe I've used my tire now for 2 years, and between 2 and 3 years, and I want to embark on these travels this period. I mean, common sense says change your tires because you're embarking on a long distance travel. But then I now look at the economy and I look at the prices of things, and then I say, okay, I'll go for a fairly used tire. Maybe there at Apo, I'll just drive to Apo. I mean, does that make sense to you now, as you know, as looking at it from the road safety perspective? I mean, in spite of all that the prices are saying there in the market, how important is it for an intending traveler, motorist, not to cut cost?
Okay, like the road safety, we maintain a very hard stand on this use of fairly used tires. So it's a no thing. You have to consider how important that journey is. And if it is not economically viable for you to go with your vehicle, of course, you have the option of joining commercial vehicles. And you don't have to cut corners when it comes to journeys and vehicle maintenance. If it is not Panadol, definitely it can't work the same as Panadol.
Of course.
So people want to say, okay, wisdom says I should use the fairly used tire. Of course, it's a no thing. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a story of penny wise, pound foolish. So we really stand against it. We are against it. Don't try it. Use the alternative. And again, if the journey is not that important, of course, Christmas celebration is just one day celebration and not a deadline. So please, if it's not okay, financially and otherwise, for you to embark on the journey, you can do way bill and send things to the family back there and stay put. You know, we all understand that the times are hard, but then hard times don't last. Hard people do. So we know at the end of the day, we'll still smile. There's always that light at the end of the tunnel. Although people say, what if never takes the light by then? But that's on the lighter side. But we still encourage people, if it's not absolutely important, please use the alternative. Either you go on commercial or public transport, whichever, or you
stay back at home.
Stay back, and if the village people so miss you that much, you can send one or two things using the way bill, and that will settle it for this year.
I chuckled when you said Christmas is one day celebration, and you're saying the village people. For the village people, it's not a one day celebration, it's an entire season. Because and I'll tell you from my own experience and back, this is a period that most families, and I'm saying extended families, look forward to, because it's a time of convergence. I mean, a time that people come together. You probably see your cousin that you've not seen in, say, an entire year, or maybe more than that, and then people come to the village. So, I mean, for some group of persons, it's more than a day celebration. But I get what you mean, and I get the alternative that you've talked about. And, I also do understand that it is one thing to prepare yourself for a holiday trip by road, and that's your personal preparation. But then, if you're having to use the option that you talked about of commercial public transportation, I presume that is a separate ball game. Of course, an intending passenger does have the right to inspect a vehicle he or she intends to travel with there at the park before takeoff. But the question that I would like to ask you is, how much so and how possible is it for the transporter to oblige the passenger with such an inspection or examination of the intended vehicle to be used for the said trip? Where does a passenger's rights and responsibility to safety start and end with a planned trip there at that point at the motor park? And what are the responsibilities of the transport company that they can also be held liable for in the event of a mishap?
Okay, thank you. Talking about the passengers' rights and, of course, responsibilities, yes, they have every right to demand to inspect the vehicle they want to board for a journey. And if it is not allowed, of course, for crying out loud, we have a whole lot of options. and you may decide not to, because sometimes you never can tell. Those could be telltale signs that that journey is not going to be it. So you please look for an option that we're saying. Then of course we know that anybody operating a transport business is of course under the regulation to ensure that at least the minimal safety standard is ensured in their fleet. So normally they have the safety manager that will on daily basis ensure that a comprehensive check on the vehicles that are to embark on journeys are done in order to ensure the safety of lives and property. And again, talking about the passenger's responsibility, of course, driving or embarking on journeys is not just the duty of the driver alone, because they are all involved. Should a crash happen, God forbid, it takes only just one driver, and maybe if it's an 18-seater bus, just one driver and probably 17 passengers go. So you look at it that the passengers are more at risk. So if they come together and speak with one voice, driver, this is not right, we don't think we're going to do it. And because again, if the passengers are not there, the boys definitely won't go anywhere. So they just must respect the rights of the passengers and ensure that they are given due consideration. After all, we say that customers are always right, and of course they should be treated like kings. So whichever transport company that denies such rights to the passenger, of course, is cutting down on its customer base.
And of course, that's speaking of the rights and responsibilities of the passenger or intending passenger in the within the scenario that we've painted. And on the other side, on the flip side, for the transport company, I mean, what responsibilities, and I know you've alluded or made allusions to this earlier when you talked about taking precautionary measures to be taken before embarking on the journey. But then when it comes to public transportation and public transportation companies, and I mean, you and I know these things and how careless or negligent or negligible some of these companies can be. I mean, you see, and it happens all the time when you drive along the expressway and you see public commercial vehicles broken down, passengers just hanging now, stranded, and just looking for alternatives to continue on their journey. We've seen this happen time and again, and I don't know, but what responsibilities do these commercial transport companies have to ensure that their vehicles are well maintained, prime and prim for long distance journey, especially this holiday season, and what can they be held liable for?
Yeah, like we said, or like I said rather, that every transporter must first of all register under the Road Transport Safety Standardization Program, the RTSS scheme. And under the regulation there, every transporter is supposed to have a safety unit, manned by a safety manager, and they have the responsibility of taking care of driver's education, vehicle safety, and the rest of it. Okay. And of course, it's not a place to teach them how to handle customers, but every passenger, of course, is entitled to having maybe a safe trip.
Yes.
So if I come to your transport company for that, and probably there is a breakdown along the way, they are supposed to have a kind of plan B, yes, a safety, maybe a recovery plan. So it's just that it's a bit unfortunate that most of them could be negligent, but then road safety is always on their neck to ensure that they meet that part of the bargain, to ensure that they put on the road-worthy vehicles. So to avoid all these issue of breakdown, and but then at times we never can tell. It could happen sometimes due to oversight, sometimes maybe it just happens.
Yeah.
Like we say, life happens.
Well,
so
I get that your men do a lot to, enforce, enforce roadworthy vehicles, to enforce the the requirement for only roadworthy vehicles to be on our highways. But and you've talked about that responsibility and the responsibility of transport, commercial transport companies as well. And I know it's we see some of these experiences, ugly and unfortunate experiences along the highways. One which worries me a lot is the issue of night travels, and I mean that comes to fore, especially during this holiday season. How important is it to limit night travels this holiday season, and also, encouraging or talking about drivers embarking on long distance travel, taking breaks during these travels? I know these are all personal choices, and I get that, but I wonder what structure authorities like the Federal Road Safety Commission already have in place or hope to put in place to assure late night travelers, perhaps, or those stranded along the ways this period, of some form of assistance, at least.
First, I must say that road safety discourages night travels. And there's no way you can paint it for us to accept that it's okay, because we're talking about the night travel of a thing. You know that traveling in the daytime is, kind of tiring too.
Yes.
Talking about, coming to the night, it could be worse. Twice as hard as it is traveling in the daytime. So we discourage night journeys, and given that, yes, we discourage
but it does happen. It still happens.
Yes. And if you check, our road safety management in its wisdom has established a good number of outposts along the critical corridors to ensure that, yes, even in the daytime or nighttime, wherever anything happens, we'll be there handy to assist them. And we've been doing that, and I know we cannot really get it 100%, but then we're doing our best, everything possible. When we go for our campaigns, we have an opportunity to speak with transporters and, of course, travelers. We discourage them. We talk against it, and we don't mince words about it. Night journeys are no. But if it happens, of course, we are still caring. We have our men on the road talking about visibility of the road safety men. We have our roadside clinics. We have our rescue vehicles, patrolmen. Although we don't really do a 24-hour thing, but then having those outposts or help areas along the road is one of the ways we try to still assist. Because yes, given that you've cautioned your child, don't do this, don't jump. If you jump, you're going to fall and break your leg, and he still goes ahead to jump and breaks the leg, you won't say, okay, because I had cautioned, I won't assist. You still have to. So that's why we have these help areas in the daytime, help areas at night, just to assist. But then we still stamp our feet that night journeys are no.
So night travelers, if you must, if you're in a hurry to get to wherever you're going to, embark on your journey in good time, wake up early, prepare ahead, days leading to the D-Day, and then start your journey early. That's it for you. But talking again about things you do not advise or encourage, there's something that I know. It is that travelers usually encumber themselves with too much to carry during holiday travels. It beats my imagination, but I can relate with why the women folks are more of the culprits here. My wife is a typical example. She carries everything as if she does not plan to come back. But what is your advice about carrying too much valuables, perhaps in your car, during the holiday travels, or too much cash, for that matter, during the long distance travel?
Is that the cash or the load we're talking about?
Well, valuables, load, and
okay, fine.
Well, and all of them.
Yes,
having too much of so much in the car.
We should equally understand, we the husband should equally understand that the manufacturers of the vehicle have a specific load carrying capacity for each of the vehicles. So if you see your wife coming to put a 10-ton on a 5-ton vehicle, of course, that's where your role as a husband is activated. Madam, no, we are still coming back. And if we must carry those loads, of course, is still going to rub off on our wallets. You can do the way bill, use the transport company, we bill your loads ahead of you, then you travel light so that you avoid this issue of driving or traveling in an overloaded vehicle. So it's not right because the load on the vehicle, of course, itself again rubs off on the fuel consumption of the vehicle because the heavier the load on the vehicle, the more tasking it is for the engine, and of course, in order to power itself, it takes in more fuel. And we're talking about trying to economize the way we travel. So it's still part of that plan of making a economically viable journey. So we discourage it. We need to talk with ourselves and talk to ourselves too to ensure that we don't overload our vehicles, because overloading is one of the identified factors
road accident
to road traffic crash or crashes.
And with the cash, I may say, with the cash, I think we may need to strike a balance here. You have some cash, not so much cash, because too much cash might make you vulnerable, or I don't know, but then I mean, you strike a balance because you might need the cash on your way to get stuff, and that. I mean, Commander Edem, I would like your final words of advice to intending travelers and holiday makers likely to be on the move this period. I mean, what do you have to say to them very quickly and briefly as we round off our conversation?
Thank you very much. On a final note, I want to tell our Nigerian travelers and even the foreigners too in Nigeria that if you must travel, you travel responsibly. Plan your journey, avoid distractions, ensure that your vehicle is well maintained and roadworthy, good enough for the journey. Drive within the ambit of the law. Keep away all forms of distractions. And
like no texting, no phone,
texting, no surfing,
no drinking and driving,
no transferring of cash, electronic transfers, and all those stuff. And if you must do any of those, please ensure that you pull over in a safe environment. Underline the word safe. Safe environment to do that. Then you continue your journey. If there's a call coming in, please, you have to park to answer the call. There's no two ways. I mean, there are no two ways about it.
Indeed.
Just ensure that you do the right thing. Like I said, drive within the ambit of the law.
Drive responsibly.
Yes.
I would like to thank you so much for coming on this. I mean, this has been quite educative. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people watching us right now are encouraged by your words. Corps Commander Charles Edem, Deputy Corps Public Education Officer, I would like to thank you so much indeed for coming on our program. And best of luck to you and your colleagues this season. I mean, you're essentially essential workers. And so I wonder how the Christmas celebrations will be for you and your officers, but this is hoping that the commission would also, I mean, encourage and boost morale this period of Christmas as you go about your duties and responsibilities. Thank you so much for coming on our program.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. And Merry Christmas in advance to each and every one of us. God bless.
Christmas is definitely one of the most wonderful time of the year for lots of people, but it is also a potentially dangerous time of the year with opportunistic criminals looking to explore loopholes and take advantage of innocent families. I don't have the statistics readily available at the moment, but we know that crime and criminality often rise and peak between December and, leading into January every year. Well, I have the first Public Relations Officer and Assistant Commissioner of Police, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, joining me on the program. Thank you so much for coming on Insights. Of course, we do appreciate you. We know it's a busy time for the police as well. We're glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good day. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well. I'd like to jump, straight into it and ask for what you consider key security tips for Christmas, just so to help keep families, safe over this period, the Yuletide period. What, for you, are the most important security tips, for families, homes, and businesses to engage in or to, to put in place this period of the year?
Generally, we know this period is always a very busy period. We have people traveling from one point to another, people coming into Nigeria from abroad, people are out there, those are coming in from one place to another, some for genuine businesses, some to perpetrate their evil acts. So we know influx of people to our various states, to even Nigeria as a nation. We always have a large number of people coming into the country to do one or two things. Many of them who have been away for a very, very long time. They want to come around to Nigeria, to First State, with all our people, our Christian brothers and all Nigerians. And I know one peculiar thing about this period is Christmas only comes with the New Year period, so you don't even know the difference. Whether you're a Christian or Muslim, everybody moves together, we celebrate together at this period. That's one peculiar thing about this particular festive period. We all can only tell our people that don't always trust people you meet. Don't always trust people you meet on the road, at recreational places. As fun seekers, you tend to meet people outside there at various locations across the country or in your own state, or even if you have been to your village, you're going to see strange faces, unusual faces. Try to be very, very careful. Don't jump into any friendship with them. Try to profile whoever that you want to relate with. Try to profile those, particularly as for business. Try to profile them. If they push to you that they are, or they propose to you they have a company, make sure that company registered. Make sure the company is a known company. And for those of us that will meet people on social media, don't make friends on social media anyhow. I'm not saying you should not meet people on social media, but you must be very, very careful. Based on some of our various experiences, some of our recorded cases, uh, we need to advise our people to be very, very careful. Then this time around, because you want to travel, our roads are very, very busy. Please don't avoid night movement, avoid night trips. Anywhere you are in this late, try and find a place to stay, to rest. Don't move at night. It could be very, very risky. Then, if you want to drive, this is a season that we always groove. We catch cruise, we enjoy. You go to joints, you are a fun seeker. You want to cruise, you want to club, you want to do everything. The moment you want to drive, please don't drink. And once you drink, don't drive. And when you drive, watch your speed, but not your time. Watch that speed. So when you drive, try to be very, 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 very careful on the road. And don't disclose your location on social media. Don't disclose your movement on social media. Don't relate this with anybody. You want to travel from one point to another. You are fond of coming to social media to do everything. You are in your bedroom, you come to social media. You want to cook in your kitchen, you come to social media. No, you are only exposing yourself to unnecessary dangers. So please avoid this. Don't tell them your movement. I will move. Some of you that you have your children with you, anybody must have access to your house. Try and know the person. The door must be locked. Your kid must not open the door to anybody unless that
Fantastic.
person puts a call across to you. And you are very, very sure it's the person you know. On no account should any of your children rush to the
Fantastic.
gate or the door and open door to any guest and create access to anybody. It is not good in any way. Make sure your house and your surroundings, your compound is well lit at night. It's very, very crucial. Lock
You
your
know,
doors, lock your gates before you sleep, and don't entrust this into the hands of any of your young children. They don't know
fan-
how to perfect, how to lock these gates.
fantastic.
Do it
I
yourself.
would like
Make
to,
sure you check the gate, check the
yes.
door yourself before you sleep. It's very important.
Fantastic, and I'm glad, I mean, you've given perspective to all of these issues, and it makes me very happy because I would like to take you up on a couple of issues you have raised, and I think they are germane to this whole, I mean, this whole context of security, especially when we talk in terms of safeguarding ourselves at home within this period. I mean, I'm so glad you raised, and in acknowledgement of just how busy this season and period can be. We have families, people coming in from overseas. We have relatives perhaps meeting for the first time after a very long time. So when you say, or when we say we should be aware of everyone entering and exiting our premises, I mean, we realize this is a period when there is an unusually high frequency of visitors, some known, but sometimes, I mean, it is a time that we meet relatives that we probably have never seen or have never met all our lives. And so managing this flow of visitors can be very challenging. Otherwise, you risk being labeled as a snob, even in the village there. So, I mean, we're talking about safety here over, you know, meeting friends and families. How do we manage a situation?
I'm not saying you should not attend to your kinsmen. Your kinsmen are your kinsmen. And of course, you are in the village, you are in the community to fellowship with them, to enjoy this period with them. But you, despite that, you must still profile those who want to visit you. Nobody is before you, because you were in the midst of your kinsmen, doesn't mean you're not going to be conscious of things around you. Not anybody that will come to your gate, knocking at the door of the gate, that you're going to give access. You must be sure of that person at the gate or those people at the gate before you give them access to your house. It is very, very important. The fact that you are in the midst of your kinsmen doesn't mean they cannot harm you. No. Don't let us make mistake. In security business, you don't trust anybody. And you must to be safe is to feel unsafe. So it's important for you in security business, the way we see it is that we suspect everybody. And you can't say because you're in the midst of your kinsmen, somebody be at your gate 9 p.m., 10 p.m., knocking at the door, and you want to give him access. It could be risky. But you must be sure that this is the person that's at the gate. I knock at your door, I mention my name, it is Muiwa. How do you want to be sure that it's Muiwa at the gate, not somebody else? People will know, they study you. Those who want to come and cause problem in your house, those that want to come and rob you, attack you,
Yes.
they must have been monitoring you. They know you have a Muiwa as a brother, you have one Muiwa as a cousin, you have one Muiwa as a nephew, as the case may be. So they can easily drop Muiwa's name at the gate for you to be deceived and give them access to a house to rob you. These are practical experiences, these are practical cases and case studies we have at hand. It's not that we are only thinking or we are speculating. These
Okay.
are realities, these are the things we have seen, these are the things we have recorded, these are the things we have experienced so far. So we need to use these examples, these case studies to educate our people, to enlighten them, to be more security conscious, particularly during this period.
Well, big men and small men and middle men and everybody has to be security conscious. And I like that you're being very practical with these scenarios that you're creating and these case studies that you're creating. I need you to create similar studies or scenarios for the contest that you talked about earlier about establishing a lockup procedure. And you did talk about kids being kids and for us to be careful how we manage. You know, kids are fond of leaving the doors open and entryways, by the ways, unlocked after using them. Sometimes, not just kids, adults also do same, as a matter of fact. Speak to me about how best to have and establish a realistic and reliable lockup procedure for homes and even business premises using the same style that you've created by creating scenarios and case studies.
Majorly, we are discussing residential houses, homes,
Yes,
not
please.
business premises this time around.
For
If we
homes
can still
at
talk
least,
about
yes.
premises, but fine. But let us talk of our
Resident,
residential
please,
homes
please go
now.
ahead with
That's
residential,
where
yes.
we always notice that we experience some attacks. Yes, we experience some attacks in some. So on the issue of the lockup system,
Yes.
don't forget, it is not all your children that will have access to the key, either to lock or to unlock the door. If you don't have grown-up kids, you can have brothers with you. But if you know your kids are so young, less than 10, less than 8, don't even ask them to go and open or close the gate. You can do it yourself, either yourself or your spouse to handle it. But if you have grown-up kids, allow the grown-up ones to handle the key so that you will not be vulnerable to any attack. And you must make sure that when you're approaching the gate, is a grown-up one you're going to call, not anybody at home. But if they don't pick, you should be able to have certain numbers at home you are going to call. Make it as a culture of passing a call through to them before you reach your house. Not that you'll be at the gate and your spender will just come and open the gate. You should be able to put a call across to them. And don't if you are the one that you don't have a ride and you're approaching your house, don't tell your cabman or the Uber driver to drop you directly in front of your gate. No.
Okay.
Tell the cabman or the Uber man or whatever to move a bit further, not in front, directly in front of your house or your gate. It is not good. These are other things. So just tell them to move ahead. They won't know your house. They won't know where they have dropped you. Perhaps when you are in the car, you had made 1 or 2 calls. You don't know who is doing the car. We have talked business. You have taught business, and they must have picked 1 or 2 things from you. It is not okay for you to just expose yourself further. Just make sure you allow them to drive far away, a bit away from your gate before you stop. These are the things you need to take note in your residential houses. And
Okay.
for some of us that have housemates, like security guard, what do you call them, men on duty at night to protect you, you must be checking on them intermittently so that you don't think that you have guards that are guarding you and you are the one even guarding your house yourself. Some of them sleep at night. Some of even security operatives, if you have them deployed to certain places, you must monitor them.
It's unfortunate that we're experiencing the intermittent disconnection. That's because of the network connectivity from your end, I should say, and not from ours. I should say. But
Yeah.
very
Can
quickly,
you imagine?
in rounding off our conversation, I would like to ask where the police stands and how the police is currently positioned to ensure safety of lives and property within this period, this season, and going into the new year. How ready are
Yes.
your men and officers?
Incidentally, we had the IGP's conference with strategic managers today. These involve strategic managers of the police, comprises uh, commissioners of police, assistant inspectors general of police, deputy inspectors general of police, including the IGP himself, and tactical commanders. We are talking of these, our tactical squads like STS, ILT, and some of them. This team of officers called strategic managers team. They are very, very key to us, and IGP had a meeting with them today at the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Peacekeeping Hall in Abuja here at Force Headquarters. Many issues were discussed. The ideas were cross-fertilized. The IGP gave warnings to them on certain things. IGP issued directives to them on what to do and what not to do. We expect every command by now to have designed its operational order for the
Okay.
retired period. Operational order is a document that comprises all your deployment, your engagement, your activities for effective policing of your area of responsibility. So all of them must have designed their operational order by now, and we are to work with all security agencies, majorly traffic management. Don't forget, all our roads are going to be very busy this time around,
Very
and
true.
we are expected to have reckless drivings on most of our highways because of the phone stickers that have gone out there. They are high. They have done this. They have done that. People don't do things moderately. We are expected to have issues like that. So we should take note of adequate traffic management in all these areas. Then we have to deploy to fortify most of our recreational centers because people are going out there for picnic. They are going there for carnival, carol, concert, and what have you. We must fortify all these places. IGP has given instructions to that effect.
Okay.
Again, we are to do adequate patrol, vehicular patrol, motorized patrol, foot patrol, undercover movement, and raids. There's no how police will not embark on raids of blast spots. There are certain identified blast spots in various states. The commissioners of police have been instructed to carry out rigorous raids on some of these blast spots. to pick this element out of our system so that they can give us rest of mind during this period. As we are planning to have our picnic, our fun fair parties and what have you, they are planning to come and attack. So as a plan, we plan, but
Very
because
well.
our own is legitimate, we should be able to subdue them and decimate the activities of these men of the underworld. So we hope that our people, Nigerians, residents in all these states, we work with the police and other security agencies to have a formidable force, to have a varied security networking in various states, to have proper security and protection of lives and property across the length and breadth of this country. We are going to have our men deployed in many areas. So we want to appeal to Nigerians to please respect them. They will flag
Great.
you down. Stop for them. They're human beings like you.
Of
I
course.
think they say respect begets respect. So if you meet them, they stop you, respect them, they are going to respect you. No policeman is insane. No policeman is a madman. But actions and reactions are equal and opposite. If you tell me I'm a foolish man, I will tell you I'm not foolish. So please respect the dignity, respect the opinion of these men on uniform while you are sleeping. They are in the night moving up and down or in the sun to protect you, protect your family. So when they flag you down, don't dishonor them. Don't disrespect them. You are expected to turn down the volume of your deck in the vehicle, not blasting music and doing as if you have immunity or you are number one man in the world. No, respect them. I'm sure they are going to respect you. It is
Very
very
well.
good for you it's very good for you to respect them so that you can avoid certain confrontational issues, certain arguments or conflicts on the road. So they are going to be there, you are going to see them. We are going to raid. So if you are going out at night in some areas that are vulnerable to attacks, in some areas that we know they are notorious places and they are blast spots, go out with your ID cards. Once they stop you, identify yourself. But if you don't have ID card, they may not be able to screen you, allow you to go at that point. You need to go to the station before they do the screening. We have talked to officers to always endeavor to do proper screening of suspects of rape overnight. Don't keep them in the cell, dump them in the cell without screening them. We don't expect to have a smooth raid without arresting an innocent person. Every successful raid must affect an innocent person at least. That is the system. But the best thing you should do is to make sure you check the suspect,
Okay.
screen the suspect, and let those that have genuine means of livelihood, that have their job doing, they have ID cards to go home. Where those that you suspect fully to be kept for further profiling the following day.
An
So we have
investigation.
talked to our officers, the commissioners of police, area commanders, their DPOs, and of course, at the higher level, their supervisory assistant inspectors, general of police, to supervise all these operations. We are
Okay.
going to be out. We are going to work and make sure we decimate activities of this element. But while we discharge our duties, we are duty bound again. Of course, let me say normal as a normal practice, we may likely step on certain toes. Don't think you know and don't take laws into your hand. You will not allow you attacking the police because a policeman is engaging you in any argument or spirited argument. You slap the police, you beat the police. Even if you slap any uniformed person, collectively are going to take it up against you. It's an offense. It's a criminal offense. All these officers on the road, either state-owned security outfits or federal government security outfits, either traffic managers. In Lagos, we know we have LASMA. In Abuja here, we have all of them. In Kano, we have those specifically established by the government for traffic management. They are on uniform. Every uniform you see must have the coat of arms of this country. That shows that that person wearing that uniform at that time is representing the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Don't beat him. Do not attack him.
Okay.
Respect him. He's going to
Great.
respect you. If
But
you
then,
attack any police officer or any
yes.
security operative, it's a criminal offense and you will cost to face the full wrath of the law accordingly.
This is also hoping, first PRO, this is hoping that, the number of persons, innocent persons, impacted in a raid is minimal. And you did talk about honoring the police. In honoring the police, I'd like to know if the Nigerian police is doing anything particularly for our men in uniform and women in uniform this Christmas? Are they perhaps getting a Christmas bonus to raise and boost morale?
Well, Christmas bonus, that is an administrative thing. Even if you are giving them, you don't expect me to tell you are giving them.
You
But that
can
one is an internal thing, and that one has been handled accordingly. I'm not sure
very well.
anybody has complained to you that he has not been okay or is not feeling fine. We are
Very
all
well then.
good, fantastic. The IGP is organizing a Christmas carol for us. We are going to
Okay.
dance into this festive mood and dance into the new year. And of course, we are all happy. We are fine.
Very
Internal
well then.
matters should not be made public.
Very well then, and I get that completely. I'd like to thank you so much, First Public Relation Officer and Assistant Commissioner of Police, Olumuyiwa Adejobi. Thank you so much for coming on our program, Insights. Well, sorry again for the intermittent break in transmission. Like I said, it's because of the internet connections. We would hopefully get you into the studio sometime real soon, perhaps before the end of the year, or maybe in the new year, to come push this conversation further. I'd like to wish you and other officers, your colleagues, the officers, policemen and women there out there working this period. Of course, you are all essential workers. I'd like to wish you best of the season and Godspeed as you go about your responsibilities and duties.
We
Thank you
wish you
so
all the
much.
best too. The NTA, we appreciate you for your support so far. And to all Nigerians, we want to say Merry Christmas to you and a prosperous New Year in advance. We believe and what it means here, we're going to have peace in this country. It's our home. We have no place to go. Let's
Very
work
true.
together to have that Nigerian government, Nigerian nation we all deserve and we desire to have. God bless
Very.
you all.
God
And
bless you
thank you and
too.
enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you
your
so
day.
much. Thank you so much. Elizabeth Omori is up next.
President Bola Tinubu says his administration is prioritizing and improving Nigeria's health sector through massive investments and the allocation of increased funds to the sector in the proposed 2024 budget. The president made this declaration at the unveiling of Nigeria's Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative and the signing of the Health Renewal Impact by federal and state governments, as well as development partners. He says health is not merely the absence of diseases, but the embodiment of physical, mental, and social well-being. It is a fundamental human right, and Nigeria's commitment to achieving universal health coverage is reflected in the unwavering dedication of its administration. How do we solve these challenges within the sector? How do we drive implementation? What roles would be played by state governments to bring this to fruition? My guest, Dr. Nwachukwu Anakwenze, a public health analyst and doctor of medicine, joins us via Zoom to dissect impacts of the health sector initiative. Dr. Nwachukwu, thank you for joining us on Insights.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, let's assess the sector before we deal with the new plan. As a key player in the health sector, where are the lines missing?
Very good attention have not been paid to healthcare. Healthcare is something you have to spend to prevent disease, not to wait until somebody is dying. They are trying to improve number of primary care. That's the right direction. Improving the number of primary cares you have is very good, but you also need specialists to back it up. A lot of disease that people go to overseas for can be treated here. There are good doctors here, but more than 10,000 Nigerians are overseas. So investing in primary care, that's what I heard, is good, but you have to pay the doctors and the professionals. You have to pay for good infrastructure. The Nigerian people are very intelligent. The young people in medicine, they are very intelligent. They can compete with anybody in the world. It's just.
Considering the importance of primary health care in building a resilient, integrated healthcare system, President Bola Tinubu announced plans for a comprehensive revamp of physical infrastructure, equipment, and the retraining of frontline health workers starting from 2024. Let's have your thoughts on this new initiative.
If it's implemented, that would be good. You know, rebuilding the structures is good. Training the staff is good. And Training the staff, the doctors, the nurses, the pharmacists is good. The structure needs to be trained. They need to equip. They don't have any equipment.
How do you think this would help? Because it will begin in 2024.
Any effort to improve the infrastructure is good. Improving primary health care is good because that's where you prevent all the diseases. If you have good primary care, a lot of things can be treated until you die of heart attack or stroke. So those are in the right directions. But you have to pay the healthcare professionals, otherwise they will leave.
Now let me ask you this, from the angle of a politician, not a medical doctor this time around, how do we drive implementation of these initiatives?
And first of all, you have to have merit, vision, and commitment. If you don't have serious people who are determined seriously, you're not going to go anywhere. Nigeria have all the resources that God have given to any country, modern. Now we have all the natural resources, all the food resources, very intelligent children. If we put the right people in place, we can be a world power and we can have world-class hospitals. We have the people already. Our youth can do it.
How do we drive this mandate to have a healthy, an effective and efficient healthcare sector?
The schools are there, which can be improved. But the primary health care is a good thing. That's the right direction. That's where you can stop all those things. Then you have to have immunizations. You have to have preventive health care. If you manage health care properly, you're not going to have all this problem. If you manage cholesterol and manage your sugar, you're not going to have heart attack or stroke. You can stop all these things. A lot of people are dying of stroke here. I see people walking and limping. It's controlling blood pressure. You do that in primary care side, controlling cholesterol. Your diet, the diet that our forefathers ate was very good. Vegetables, fruit, mango, orange, bitter leaf, okra. That's natural. That's the natural food. If you eat something like that, you will live a long time. But now everybody wants to eat meat, red meat, and high cholesterol. That's why you're dying. And blood pressure, simple blood pressure. Blood pressure is a simple problem that you can control with one medication a day. We should invest in that and help our people. The whole black world is depending on Nigeria to get it right.
Doctor, you know, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals actually have targets. And then we have some on reduction of malaria, reducing HIV/AIDS before 2030, reducing maternal mortality before 2030. Now, with this plan the Nigerian government has put in place, do you see us meeting this target before 2030?
The facilities needs to be repaired and updated and well equipped. A doctor can't do his work without his tools. You need to train more doctors. Doctors, it's a lot of doctors, and then a lot of them are living. You're training them and they're living. I know. You have more than 10,000 Nigerian doctors overseas that are very well trained, the best in the world. You need to use different Nigerian people. They have different talents. Different Nigerian people have different assets and ability to do things. Not everybody don't have everything. Use everybody, work with all the Nigerian youth, train all of them, and bring out the best for Nigeria. So, for me, God gave Nigeria everything that He can give any world country in the world. Nigeria is more blessed than any country with natural resources. Food, rice, beans, millet, fruit, banana, rice, yam. Good. We have it. Other people have to import. We have minerals, gas, oil, gold, diamond, silver, tin. We have it. God gave us more than He gave everybody. We don't have earthquake. You don't have hurricane. You don't have fire flood like you have in America. You don't have earthquake. If you have earthquake in Lagos, 2 million people will die. You don't have it. God blessed you more than He blessed other people. The Northerners should love Southerners, and Southerners love Northerners. And Muslims should love Christians, and Christians should love Muslims. They all have good assets that if we put together, we will be a world power. God wants us to be a world power. I already sent to train a full medical doctor, takes at least 12 years. You know, if you study economics or literature or history, 4 years you're out. To be a doctor, full certified doctor, 12 years. And nurses. And a lot of Nigerians have succeeded. Nigerian people are very intelligent. They can compete with anybody in the world. Our youth have a lot of brains. If you give them the right condition with right leadership, Nigeria will be flying spaceship to moon, to Mars, like India is doing. More, just keep training. Just keep training. One day, you'll be able to pay more competitive salary. People will come back.
So, Nwachukwu, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your contributions and insights this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of the program. Do join us same time next week for more on Insight. My name is Nnamdi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori. Compliments of the season. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.